question. Now remember, all of these were submitted by people out there. So if you got a problem, find who that is and you talk to them. Don't talk to me. I'm just trying to answer some questions as honestly as I can. Here's the last one. What about the NRA? That's a hot potato, isn't it? That's a political hot potato. It's unbelievable. You see, there's some individuals on one side who look at the NRA and what they say is, oh, that's an evil group. They promote gun violence. And then there's the other side of the spectrum, and they see the NRA as a good group, doing nothing more than trying to support the Second Amendment and teach gun safety to other people. Now, I'm not going to get real deep into the NRA. I'm going to do two things with them. First, let's talk about their founding just for a minute. Who founded this group? When did it start? And what was its purpose? Dismayed by the lack of marksmanship shown by their troops, Union veterans, Colonel William C. Church and General George Wingate, formed the National Rifle Association in 1871. His primary goal, or the primary goal of the association, would be to promote and encourage rifle shooting, watch this, on a scientific basis, according to a magazine editorial written by Colonel Church. After being granted a charter by the state of New York, November the 7th, 1871, the NRA was founded. 1871, just a few years after what? The Civil War. During the Civil War, two Union officers saw that their troops could not shoot very well. And so what did they want to do? They wanted to train their troops to shoot better, so they formed the National Rifle Association. It's interesting to me that it was founded in New York City, of all places, and by Union officers. I believe that we have a responsibility of being honest with individuals, don't we? What's the purpose of the NRA? That's the question. What's the purpose? Why do they exist today? All you have to do is go into their bylaws, and in Article 2, they have 5 missions that they desire to accomplish. Five purposes as to why they exist. Here's the first one. To protect and defend the Constitution of the United States, especially with reference to the inalienable right of the individual American citizen guaranteed by the Constitution to acquire, possess, collect, exhibit, transport, carry, transfer, ownership of, and enjoy the right to use arms. Folks, that's the Second Amendment of the United States. The right of every citizen of the United States to bear arms. If we don't like that law, if we don't think that law should exist, then what we need to do is we need to change the law, don't we? It's been in existence for a long, long time. Secondly, to promote public safety, law and order, and national defense. You want to know what you need to do? If you don't own a gun, borrow a gun and take a course from the NRA. It is one of the toughest, most difficult courses that you will ever take on gun safety, folks. Let me tell you, it is well worth the money. It's not like even a concealed carry course. Many of those are pretty simple. Not the NRA courses. Tough, challenging, difficult courses to teach the safety of guns in the United States. Notice this, to train members of law enforcement, the armed forces, the militia, and people of good repute in marksmanship and in the safe handling and efficient use of small arms. We've already mentioned, if you're going to use a gun, what? Know how to use it. And it doesn't matter who's using it, whether it is the armed forces, whether it is our police, or whether it is the individual citizen. All, if they're going to use a gun, need to know how to use it. And the NRA understands that. Notice this one: to promote and foster shooting events, including advancement of amateur competitions in marksmanship at the local, state, national, and international levels. Folks, guns are used all over the world. Do you know that? There are international events that the NRA gets together and individuals participate in. Competition, good, healthy competition. And as far as I know, at those events, nobody has ever been, guess what? Killed. Know why? They teach gun safety. And then the last one I find is interesting: to promote hunter safety and to promote and defend hunting as a shooting sport and as a viable, necessary method of fostering the propagation, growth, and conservation and wise use of our renewable wildlife resources. Question: does wildlife have to be conserved properly? Absolutely. Over in Paris, Tennessee, very rural community there of about 10,000, 12,000 people or so. And in the city limits, guess what you can't do? Can't fire a gun. I understand that. But you see, it's a rural community. And guess what? There's deer everywhere. You plant a garden, you can forget that. Deer's going to eat that garden. He just says, thank you. You plant flowers in your flower beds, guess what? Deer eat the flower beds up. Love the flowers. We had a mama and a little doe every year right across the street from us in a house where we lived. Plant flowers in our flower bed, come home, there they are, just munching on our flowers. You cross the street and guess what? Have to stop and wait for deer to go past. Thousands, I'm literally thousands of deer in that particular community. And guess what? The government leaders were having to decide, how are we going to get rid of them all? And they were thinking about having a shoot in town of certain individuals in order to reduce the population of deer because they were becoming a threat in that particular community. You see, there has to be the conservation of wildlife in our society, and that's what the National Rifle Association is about as well. It's not an evil group. Folks, they're not intending to train people to harm other people. They intend to train people so that people will be protected in the use of firearms. Wow.